Tech Panther. Yeah, opening skit.
Here we have a presentation about intelligent animals. First, of course, there's humans. Then there's two runner-ups. We're still not sure which one's smarter, so who should we talk about first, dolphins or elephants? Well, since you're not here, we'll go with dolphins. So, yeah, blah blah blah, dolphins, blah, then elephants, blah 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 blah, blah elephants. Alright, we're done here. Oh, right, I should show you the other option. I just have to set the presentation back up really quick. Okay, humans, then let's go with elephants this time, then dolphins, then an explanation for why this is cool.
Okay, did you see a cursor moving around there, clicking on buttons? No? That's because I wasn't using my mouse. That was a two-option presentation that could be controlled using those wireless slide advancers that only have forward and back buttons, and I'm going to tell you how to make it. Before we do a step-by-step tutorial, let's cover the basics. In my AutoLink video, I showed how to use embedded packages to make files that opened by themselves. However, embedded objects aren't limited to packages. You can also create presentationception. But why wouldn't you just use packages for that? First off, once you create a package, you can't edit it. Not so with presentations. Also, presentations can be shown instead of opened, allowing seamless transitions between them. In fact, when an embedded presentation ends, it skips the black screen, taking you back to the original slide like you're just advancing a slide. Except that this is something that the back button doesn't undo, allowing the back button to take you somewhere else entirely.
The start of the presentation is actually an embedded presentation inside the slide that gives you the choice. If you start with elephants, you just go forward from there. If you start with dolphins, you go backwards.
You could have all the slides of that section in backwards order, but then animations wouldn't work. So instead we'll have a single dolphin slide that opens an embedded presentation with the rest of it. Confused? I don't blame you. Let's go step by step.
The main presentation will start with a title card, reminding me not to just start from the first slide. Next will be the first slide of our dolphin section. Sources for these pictures are in the description. Next we'll make the slide where you make a choice. Finally, we'll make the section where elephants come first. We'll make the elephant slide, then copy the dolphin slide and modify the title. Now it's time for the embedded presentations. We'll start with the start of the presentation, if that makes any sense. I go to Insert, then click Object. I choose PowerPoint Presentation. Right now I'm editing the presentation through a somewhat ugly interface.
What was Microsoft thinking when they designed this?
Fortunately, there's a better way. Click outside the embedded presentation to close it, then right-click on the presentation, mouse over Presentation Object, and click Open to open the presentation in its own window. Now I'll create the title slide and the human slide. After this slide, the presentation will end, taking us back to the choice slide. Now we have this thumbnail of the inner presentation. By the way, if you click on this thumbnail in slideshow view, you will be taken to the inner presentation. But we don't want to see this thumbnail, so we'll drag it off to the side and set it to open with animations. We'll add an OLE object animation, specifically show, and we'll leave the rest of the settings the same. Now if we click while on this slide, the presentation will open. After that presentation closes, we will be taken back here. If we go forward from there, we'll cover elephants, then dolphins. If we go backwards, we will rewind the animation, doing nothing. Go back again, and we'll go to this slide.
Oddly enough, since we haven't actually bent this slide yet, we wind up at the start of its animation timeline.
Any automatic actions will still take place, in this case, opening an embedded presentation. We'll have the first slide of the embedded presentation match this one, giving you time to read the contents of the slide. So we'll copy this slide, then insert an embedded presentation. We'll paste this slide into the embedded presentation. Of course, this is the way the slide was before we created the embedded presentation, so we don't get a presentation inside a presentation inside a presentation. So that's good. Next we'll copy the elephant slide and modify it. Finally, we'll make a slide that's completely black to give the impression that the presentation has ended.
In a normal presentation, I'd have that be a concluding slide that I'd leave on the screen until I could close the presentation. However, this is just a demo, so we'll have that slide be black.
To do this, we insert a blank slide, then cover it with a rectangle. We'll make the rectangle black. One last thing, we'll make the presentation open automatically using an animation set to after previous. To start the presentation, go to the third slide, then go to Slideshow and click From Current Slide, or just press Shift F5. Then click once, bringing us to the opening slide.
Grab a slide advancer and get presenting.
Get to the choice slide and ask the audience which animal to talk about first. If they choose elephants, go forward like normal. If they choose dolphins, go backward twice, then go forward as needed, making sure not to click forward after the black screen. Instead, take a bow, go back to the computer, and press Escape twice, bringing you out of both presentations.
Of course, that specific scenario is completely made up. Hopefully you can come up with a good real-life use for this. By the way, I made a bunch of Inception jokes earlier, and I wanted to remind you that Inception doesn't actually mean a thing inside a thing, in the case of the movie A Dream Inside a Dream. It's actually a synonym for insert. In the case of the movie, inserting an idea into someone's head. Or inserting a presentation into another one. So I guess this could still count as presentationception.